Good morning. So we will do a small recap of what we did last time. Sri Krishna is standing next to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna has a lot of questions coming up. So right in the beginning he is showing cold feet. Why should I stand here and fight this war? I will kill my own people. I should not be doing this. So there are lots of queries which are there in the mind of Arjuna, and he gets very upset. And he has cold feet in the sense that he doesn't want to fight. So the Gandiva slips from his hand. And now let us see what Sri Krishna is going to tell him. So today we are beginning chapter 2, verse 1 from the Bhagavad Gita. Sanjaya said, Sri Krishna then addressed the following words to Arjuna, who was, as mentioned before, overwhelmed with pity, whose eyes were filled with tears and agitated, and who was full of sorrow. As you can see, Arjuna's condition is very bad. Human beings go through this kind of a stage in life. When they have to take major decisions in their life, they refrain from doing it because they are not able to due to many circumstances. Actually, he is blaming the whole world for it. He is blaming his grandsires, his nephews, his uncles, and so on and so forth. Everybody. He is saying that I should not have done this. The war by itself is a weapon for going into a better world. But yet he is seeing it as something which is going to destroy his own existence and will let him down. Everybody goes through this. Now let us say you want to take a major step in any direction. It can be any major step. It could be that you are going to stand for elections, or you are going for higher studies, or you are getting married, or you are going to, say, apply for a very big position in some company. The mind tells you that it is not possible. There are so many issues. You are incapable. You cannot do this. Why? We are used to always catching up on the downside of life rather than the upside. We never see up. We always see down first. You see, when you are doing, say, mountain climbing, or if you are doing rappelling, or if you are, let us say, now even in US and in China and some place in India, they have built a ledge, and it has a glass flooring, right? And you are supposed to walk on it and see the scenery on the other side. Or there is a bridge. There is a very big bridge that is there. And you stand on the bridge and you are supposed to look at all the stuff over there. Maybe in Arizona and in India somewhere in Haridwar or some such place. And in China. The moment you look down, you are afraid. Because you are seeing the height. And that gives you cold feet. Arjuna is exactly the same. He is like any other human being. It's you. Right? We were discussing about it. Arjuna looks at all the negatives in the world And that is the reason why he says, I don't want to fight. So many people can get killed, this can happen, that can happen. So there are lots of reasons that he is given. So he was overwhelmed with pity. Why? What is this pity all about? The pity is all about facing your own relatives, and if you are going to fight with them with swords and weapons, you see, missiles were also mentioned. So at that point in time, it is going to be very, very difficult to manage all this. And that is the reason why he is overwhelmed with pity. His eyes were filled with tears. Though nothing has happened, so far he has not killed a single person. He has not even put his step forward. Nothing has happened, and yet his mind has gone miles ahead. Does your mind go miles ahead even before an occurrence of anything? Right. We always think 10 steps ahead of us, We want to, what's going to happen? Where is the money going to come from? I really don't know how things are going to pan out. If I have to send my kids to some foreign country or some big institution, where is the money? What am I going to do? Let us say if you are starting a business. The businessman, if he starts with the problem, what am I going to do? Where is the money going to come from? Sir, business is always done OPM. Other people's money. It's not your money. Nobody does business with your own money. Because you don't have anything. So you go and raise funding in the marketplace. If you start business with your own money, you are going to have shortage very soon. So it is always better to find money outside. But the fear, who is going to give me? What's going to happen? It's going to close down. 6 months later, I won't be there. Business, it is like this. You see, you try to send your small child to school for the first time. He's afraid. He or she is afraid. What's going to happen? The mother is afraid to send the child to school because she says, how is he going to face the teacher and the whole school? There are so many children over there, isn't it? It's the same thing. So, we will move to the verse 2. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 2. Shri Bhagwan said, Arjuna, how has this infatuation overtaken you at the odd hour? It is shunned by noble souls, neither will it bring heaven nor fame to you. So, understand this. Shri Krishna is the divinity within us. It is always going to say, don't worry, things will work well, whichever way. It does not really matter. Your job is to do whatever job that has come your way. Do it diligently. But no, as a human being, you're always afraid. You're always fearful. What's going to happen? How things are going to be? All these worries are there. So, how has this infatuation overtaken you? Do you know what is the difference between love and infatuation? You see, as a kid or as when you go to school, when you are a young person, 10, 11, 12, 13, that age group of even 6, 7 nowadays, when you see somebody from the opposite sex, you feel, oh, I'm in love. You feel like that. You look at a very beautiful heroine in a movie also, you feel, oh my God, she's so beautiful. I am in love. It happens literally to everybody. It is not love, it is infatuation. It is a precursor. It doesn't actually do anything. You just feel, oh, I am in love. I am liking this person a lot. Even for Arjuna to feel the infatuation is there, Even before anything has happened, he has started making enough judgments. Oh, what's going to happen, how things are going to be, blah, 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 blah. At this odd hour, we all have this greatest folly in our life. When you are right there on the spot, you develop cold feet. I'm not going to go ahead. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Why? So you are standing right there. I will tell you a small story from my childhood. Now, I was a very, very shy child. I have never stood in front of anybody. Now, someone gave my name when I was not there in the class for a singing competition. Now, he was my best friend, so he knew I was singing quite well. So he gave my name to the teacher and said, he is going to participate. I came to know after I resumed my school. Maybe I must have been sick at that time or something. So the teacher said, you are going to stand in front of these 1,000 children and you are going to sing songs. And you know what happens when that kind of a bomb is put on top of my head. I literally freaked out. I said, no way, I don't know how to do this. And I was, should I say, scared. I didn't want to go in front of an audience. I have never sang in front of an audience, and here I am told to sing in front of the entire school. And all the faculties are going to be there. Everybody is going to be there. And I didn't know what to do. I went to fight with my friend. Why did you give my name? I just want to bash you up. He said, it's okay man, doesn't matter. I said, how am I going to overcome this? It's like developing cold feet, I don't want to participate. That day I will be deliberately sick. I don't want to come to school. So he said, see, when you go to your village, we had a farmhouse. When you go to the village, what do? You see, you have a cabbage patch in front of you. Think about it, you are standing in front of the cabbage patch and you are singing to the cabbages. And believe me, in my mind, I literally took it that yes, everybody in front of me is going to be a cabbage patch. And there you got it. And I mustered all my courage. And that day I went and stood. I was very short guy, okay. It's only in 10th standard, 9th or 10th standard that I shot up by nearly 1.5 feet. Till that time I was a very short fellow. Imagine you have to adjust the whole mic to my level. And there I am singing. I think I never opened my eyes, or even if I opened, I thought everybody is a cabbage over there. So I had to overcome this fear. Human beings go through this fear. Yes, I won the competition. I won the competition. But we go through this fear. Our fear is, what is going to happen? I don't know. I cannot face these people. I cannot face anybody. We fear everything. Arjuna is fearful. So, at that odd hour, he doesn't know what he is going to do. But Sri Krishna says, the noble souls are there. Noble souls are there. They are not afraid. Whether they are going to go to heaven or whichever place, it really doesn't matter to them. Why should it matter? What is the reason for you to bother about where you are going to be, whether you are going to win or whether you are going to lose? You have a job. You cannot do this kind of a thing. You cannot say, I am afraid. I cannot do this. Especially leaders. You see, Arjuna is proclaimed. Everybody knows very well that Yudhishthir is the king. But who is the main person behind it? It is not Bhima, Nakul, Sahadev, none of these. Arjuna is the mainstay. He is the person who is going to be responsible. Remember, Arjuna is the person who was the best Dhanurdhar, archer, the best archer over there. He was very good in warfare. He is the person who went to the Himalayas and got those weapons from Shivji, if you remember the story. So Arjuna is the main person. He is the hero of the film. Imagine a leader who is supposed to be a noble person of a high order suddenly says, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know, those kind of things. If he is going to be a weakling in this whole thing, what happens to the army or the people around him? If you are the mother and if you yourself show fear when your child is going for a competition, what is the child going to carry? The child is going to carry the image of his mother being afraid. And because he is in close contact with you, he is going to be afraid. Then who is going to give him that motivation? You see, you are the person who has to give the motivation, not someone else. The father in the family, the mother, whoever is the head of the family, whoever is the head, the leader, he is supposed to be the great motivator. So this is the place where we forget that we are supposed to be leaders. We lead the world. Let me take one step back. Do you know what time it is just now? It is in the middle of the battle. It's not yet started. The battle between Kauravas and Pandavas has still not started. And before anything has started, you are giving up and going. What is that supposed to mean? It is like telling the enemy, I want to give up. My grandfather, this is a story from the Sai Sat Charitra. I'm sure you know Sai Sat Charitra. This is the book which is the story of Sai Baba. My grandfather did not want to go for his medical examination. He's a doctor. And he was sitting at home with his friends. Sai Baba in Shirdi tells my great-grandmother, tells her, why don't you go and tell your son, that is my grandfather, to go and write the examination? Why is he bothered so much about failing? So my great-grandmother came to Bandra in Mumbai and fired him and said, come on, go and write your examination. And he did. Then there was another paper which he refused to go. He said, any which way, I went to an astrologer. The astrologer told me this year is not good for you. You are going to fail. This is another thing which happens in our life. You are going to fail, so don't sit for the examination. Sit next year. So he is telling my great-grandmother, this astrologer told me don't write your examination. You are anyway going to fail. So my great-grandmother tells my grandfather, what nonsense are you talking? Sai Baba himself has said, go and write your examination and you are going to pass. And suddenly at that moment in time, one of my grandfather's friend comes running home and says to him, the teacher has sent him. The teacher has sent this boy and said, tell him to go and write the examination. So his name was Vitthal. In the book it is given as Babu. He says, Babu, go and write your examination. You will pass, don't worry. In the last paper, you have passed. So he goes and writes the examination and he passes. So can you imagine, just at that moment in time, he developed cold feet. Why? Because he was so unsure. He was not even motivated. He was told by some astrologer he is going to fail. The whole world tells you this kind of nonsense. You are going to fail, you are not going to pass, nothing is going good about you, you have not done your homework, you are not good at it, and so on and so forth. This is what happens. And we give up. Same thing is happening to Arjuna. Arjuna is giving up. And that is why he says, great people, noble souls, they are not bothered about whether they are going to win or lose. Whether they are going to heaven or other place, they are not bothered at all. So don't get into it. Just go and fight. So we move to the next verse. Verse 3 from chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita. Yield not to unmanliness. Arjuna, this does not become you. Shaking off the base faint-heartedness, stand up, O scorcher of enemies. So Sri Krishna, imagine, God himself is standing next to this person and telling him, what are you doing, my dear fellow? Go and fight. He says, this is very unmanly. This is not correct on your part. What are you? You are behaving like a dog with the tail turned inwards and you are running away from the scene. Don't. You are a man. Go and fight. Now, shaking off this base faint-heartedness. Base faint-heartedness. Fear is a factor which always exists within us. And constantly, it is always there. You are afraid of everything. You are afraid of the dark. You are afraid of going in front of people. You are afraid of writing examinations. You are afraid of even marriage, I'm sure. Those who have seen, some of these movies, you will find that right when they are going to get married, they run away. Runaway bride. You remember that story? Exactly. Okay? People get faint-heartedness right there on the spot. They say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go ahead. It is the fear which creates this. And we have to be very, very careful about this. It says, O scorcher of enemies. The enemies are afraid of you. Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, everybody is afraid of you and you are afraid of going and standing in front of the army? How funny is that? Same thing. As a leader, the whole world is actually afraid of you. Do you know this? If you are a big leader, a great person, if you are a principal of a school, just the thought that the principal is walking from out there near our class, person is afraid. Similarly, the mother preps the children up, wind up everything, keep everything in place. Your dad is going to come home. Dad is like a boogeyman. Everybody has to be afraid. It comes with the position. It's like when a CEO comes to your desk. And you may be a small employee in the company and imagine the CEO or the MD is walking from near that place. Or maybe he comes and says, hello, how is your day? Just imagine that. And you're like, oh my God, he's talking to me. Like that. Or if you are a great film persona, imagine this. Shah Rukh Khan comes to you and says, hi. Kaise ho tum? Oh my God, you are going to faint over there. You don't know what hit you. Isn't that? That is fear. Exactly the point. For me, it would be Tom Cruise or one of those great guys out there. Maybe George Clooney. If George Clooney comes and says, "Hello, I am George Clooney," and then I will say, oh my God, look at him. Isn't that how it is going to be? So, that is what it is all about. Here, this is a scorcher of enemies and he is afraid. Alright? So, we have done till verse 3. I will give you a short explanation about this from the spiritual perspective. Let us put all this on the spiritual path and let us understand what is this all about. Here, Sri Krishna is the divinity within us. Arjuna is this body of ours. The battlefield of Kurukshetra is this body where everything is happening. Every day, everything is happening around us, isn't it? How do we react to things? You see, if there is something going on in our world, say tomorrow I have to go and meet my banker and I have to ask him for a loan, I won't be able to sleep the previous night. Okay? I say, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You're already starting making judgments before it has happened. You wake up and you are afraid. What is the worst thing that can happen to you? You can die. You can lose. The person in front of you will say, no, I will not give you. I won't do this thing for you. That is all that is going to happen. And yet you are afraid. Our world is like this. Our mind goes way ahead, far ahead of us, and starts putting fear within us. This fear is one of the greatest factors which can disrupt our entire life. It is because of fear you will not go ahead and do anything. There is a very beautiful story of the King of Scotland whose name was Robert Bruce. He was fighting England. And every now and then he would be defeated because he had a small army. One day, when he was defeated and he had taken shelter in a cave. Now, in that cave, he saw a spider. The spider was weaving its web. And because the place was wet, what would happen is, every time the spider would slip down. Then the spider would again climb up and start weaving the web. This happened so many times, and yet the spider would go up there and weave the web. Finally, the web was complete. Robert Bruce came to know what he was supposed to do over there. Perseverance. You have to keep on persevering. He went and he fought one more battle and he won it. This is the story of Sri Krishna himself. I am not going to classify Robert Bruce and Sri Krishna, okay? So let us not go in that direction. But Sri Krishna had given a promise to the mother of Shishupal. Shishupal is a very important character over here also in this book. And he had promised his mother that I am going to not kill your son till his 100 sins are complete. So 18, 19 times he fights a war and at every time he runs away. Every time he would run away from there. So finally, in the 18th time, he sees Krishna running away from the battlefield. That is a very important moment in time. because that is a time when he shifts his entire clan from Mathura to Dwarka. Mathura to Dwarka. The previous night, he tells his brother, you take everybody from here and shift to Dwarka. Because I have told Chitragupta, I have told the person who is called the great engineer of the gods, to go and build an entire city on top of the water. Dwarka was a kind of an island floating in the water. And at the death of Sri Krishna, when Krishna died, everything sunk to the bottom. Dwarka city is underground, is under the water now. That is the time. So Shishupal is there. He calls out to Krishna and says, come out, I want to fight you. And Shishupal, when he shouts at Sri Krishna comes out of the fort, Mathura. Now what Shishupal has done is he has told one of the soldiers who had the ability to race even the fastest creature on earth, told him to fight Sri Krishna. Unfortunately, that person cannot outrace Krishna. You should know why. He is the Lord Almighty himself. So Krishna, when he looks at this guy, he starts running away from the battlefield. When he runs away, Shishupal calls Sri Krishna Ran Chhod Das. Run means battlefield. Chhod, leave. Person who leaves the battlefield. Person who runs away from the battlefield. And Sri Krishna runs away to a cave. That story is for another day. This is all that I have to tell you. So, but Krishna kills Shishupal later on. That's another story. So do you understand? You cannot show weak knees or weak-heartedness during this particular moment. As a king, as somebody who is in charge, somebody who has taken the responsibility, you have to always be ready for the battle, ready for any decision making, ready for whatever the case might be. It does not matter whether you are going to heaven or any other place. Got it? So this is where we will stop. We have done till verse 3. Thank you very much. And I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.